Hey guys, how y'all doing? My name is Kieran, and this is Fox Off RPG. So today we're going to be having a look at Righteous Vow Volume 1 by Crawl Club Publishing and written by Bill Havert. Now this is, in my opinion, absolutely excellent. I normally don't say this, but generally when I'm reviewing something I think it's very good. But in this case, it's absolutely excellent. This is an adventure for levels 1 to 5. You could probably get it through to levels 1 to 4. But before we look at this any further, I'm just going to do a quick introduction and a quick bit of information. If you want to follow me on Discord, get on there. I'll have the link below in the pinned comment and description. The same with my X account and my DriveThru affiliate link. As well, I'll link this on DriveThru, and as well, if Bill has already put up the, I don't know if he's having a Kickstarter or backer kit for Righteous Vow Volume 3, I will link that in the description and in the pinned comment. I'm not sure if it's up yet, but at the time of this recording it is not, but if it is, I'll put it in. So anyway, let's get straight into this. So Righteous Vow Volume 1, at first glance, this just looks to be a simple, undead sort of adventure. It is not a simple undead adventure. I want to make that clear. So we'll go over a few things here, and we'll do a little bit of the introduction it has here. So let's read the introduction bit here. So it has, welcome to Righteous Vow. Greetings, adventurers. I see you have chosen to become a follower of the Righteous Vow. This great honor will bestow upon you an inspiration lead through several unfortunate heroes into this darkness. You will guide them through a world that challenges, frightens, and delights them at every turn. Light the lanterns and sharpen your swords, but the following pages will give you the keys to unlock the story that captures the old school feel of Shadowdark role-playing game. And it talks about here the Lich King of Xadu. It is thought that the kingdom of Un was once ruled by an evil king who terrorized his people into submission. He ruled with an iron fist, and the nobles and peasants rose up in revolt, attacking his castle, and in the uprising, the king's son was slain. Thus severing his bloodline. In a grief-stricken rage, the king called upon dark forces to hunt down and avenge his son's death. But the deity of Rune took his toll when the dark deed was done. Tales tell that the king was cursed and was sealed alive in a tomb, where he was left to rot by the townspeople of Un. This curse would eventually transform into an undead Lich King, but for now his kingdom is only shadows and memory. And how this adventure is going to start is basically there's an inn and a bunch of locations. So you're going to start off in the inn. You can have your adventures travel there, or maybe they just already appear there and that's how you start. There's going to be an old dwarf, it says here, in dark cloaks. He basically talks about how his family and others here were once rich, proud nobles. They were all very powerful. And he basically asks for your help to get rid of this curse and essentially get all the families have their riches and land back, as well as the peasants, so they're not all terrorized by the undead and monstrous creatures that roam these lands. So how it's going to start really when you start adventuring out. Obviously you're going to have your own encounter tables. When you're going through hexes, you're going to have to roll for stuff. It's going to have rumors that you can give to your players, but it has manor locations. As you can see, there's 6 locations. Each one of these locations has a different, basically, castle, fortress, dungeon area to them. They're all fortresses, but some are going to be bigger than the others. They all have between, I think it's 11 and 7 and 11 rooms. There's going to be traps. There's going to be ongoing mysteries in them. There's going to be other characters you're going to interact with. You need to get in order. With some of them you're going to have to interact with for sure in order to defeat the big bad. And if your players do not figure this out or come across this, and they come across the big bad guy first, they're going to get a nasty surprise. So basically there's going to be 5 map locations. They're all called A, B, C, D, and E. This is just for rolling. But personally what I would do is I would have my players explore at least 3 and then roll off to determine where the castle would be. Because basically the bad guy in this is going to be pretty damn powerful, and you're going to get magic items and potions, staffs, and stuff like that. Some are going to be new, some are going to be in the Shadowdark core rulebook, but they're going to help your players. The only one that isn't mapped is location 5, which is this one, F. Location 6, which is F, which is this one. And it basically says in this, you will basically copy one of the other ones and plug it in, which is not a big deal, or you can make up your own. Whatever you feel like doing. Again, it has the Land of Urn, it has the Rumour locations, and the first one here, for example, the evil King Zadu was once said to have a giant cyclops. He is said to roam the eastern lands. And encounter tables, the first one is a skeleton cyclops. And down at the bottom here for the encounter tables, it says each time an encounter is rolled, subtract -2 for the roll for each previous roll made that did not result in a 1. Once an encounter occurs with the skeleton cyclops giant, reset any modifiers to the encounter rolls. So basically how I done this was, say if I rolled a 5, and that'd be 2d4 ghouls. They're from the Shadowdark core rulebook. I like how it says that as well. I've come across adventures where they didn't say this, but most of the well done ones will have the pages. It's just an oversight that sometimes happens, and they usually update them eventually anyway. But say we get the ghouls, okay? Then we roll again, have another encounter, we get the ghouls again. Okay, cool. That's now going to be, since we're at -2, it's going to be a 3. So that's how I done that. And it has the hex key locations for each of these. So it has 101, which is here. That's when you're starting town location. It says each hex is 5 miles. I just ran out with 6. This is what I'm used to. It's basically the same thing. It's not a big deal. But it describes each of the fortresses here. We're just going to look at one of them in detail, or a little bit of detail. I do not want to ruin this for people. Again, this is something I think people should absolutely pick up. Because the other day I published a video about Essential Shadowdark books. I had this in part 2, which was basically stuff I haven't played through enough yet. Now I published that video last week, and I already recorded that a little while before that, and I've played this a lot more since, and yeah, it's definitely very good. You should definitely pick it up. That's what I'm saying. Again, I don't usually say that, but when I'm reviewing things, I generally say it's my way of saying, yes, I like this. This is good. I think it will interest most people, or at least some people. I'll just read the first 1 or 2 here so you get an idea. Fortress A. You see, formidable fortress of solid stone, swept in creeping moss. The entryway to the door has been broken from the hinges, and rests spattered at your feet. That's a description of what you're going to see when you first come across this. If this location is not selected as the Zadu Castle, it will be Fortress Duncan, as well as it will be the first fortress that the player characters are likely to explore. It's best to have the lower level characters start at this Fortress Duncan. If you roll this location for Zadu Castle, the party is lower level, and you may want to reroll again and give them a fighting chance, or you can let them learn the hard way. Yeah, so that's basically the first location here, 403, and it is basically designed for lower levels. It's going to be a lot easier. It's also, this is a great introduction to Shadowdark, this entire book. It's 72 pages, but you're going to get a ton and ton of games and hours out of it. Depending on how experienced your players are, how lucky or unlucky they are with rolling, or you rolling on their locations for any encounters, where they decide to go, how you're going to decide to place the Zadu Castle. Example, if you just let them go off here and then you roll on a table and it's going to be in a B, I personally wouldn't do that. Like I said, at least allow them to go to 3 different locations. They will gain treasure, they will gain magic weapons and items, and some of these magic weapons and items will help them defeat the undead forces. Yeah. And we'll just read, say, for example, Fortress D here. A large moat surrounds the fortress, and a rotted wooden drawbridge dares you to cross. The water below looks muddy and brown, tainted by something fell. If this location is not selected as the Zadu Castle, it will be Fortress Galagot. This fortress is of considerable difficulty, contains the remains of Zadu King's mistress, Sianta. And yeah, so there's going to be stuff in this relating to characters, and most of these locations will have some sort of character that's going to be connected to the Lich King. It has the Hag's Lair, which is located over here in 803. Basically, I'll read what's going to happen here. The wild hag lives in this location, but is often wanders throughout the wilderness. If the PCs have encountered a hag, she may have already been slain, and she can be found here at number 8 if you roll on that chart. She may have already been slain. If not, she will be present at this location, offering the PCs some help in locating Zadu Castle. She also says she's willing. She also says she will only reveal the correct location as long as one of the PCs agrees to bring her some stingbat venom. If the player characters accomplish the task, she will give them the correct location. If attacked, she will defend her hut. So she's not necessarily a bad guy. So this could be one of the things where people are mistaken of who and what she is. And, you know, she could be a victim of everything and she's done what she needed to do to survive. That's going to be up to the game how they want to play that. Or if they just want to say she's just a horrible hag monster. Then we're going to have a bunch of monsters in here, which are awesome. And this is the Lich King. And he is awesome. I absolutely love this art. It's stunning. Beautiful. This art here as well for monsters is simple but looks great. He's AC 15. He's hit points of 62. He is 2 attack, touch, plus 6, and just 2d8 plus paralyzes. And he has 2 spells with a plus 7. And it goes through all the stuff here. He's sightless vision. He cannot be surprised when in near. So if you attack him from far, you can surprise him that way. But if you try to sneak up on him, it will not work. Phylactery. Now, cannot be killed while the spirit vessel, a black diamond, is intact. There is a way to have this destroyed, but it's going to require the player characters to explore and get a certain item. They don't know that. So it is potential that they completely miss that, or they just go by any rumours or information they're given. They go here, they have a hard battle, they barely get by, they beat him, but then he comes back because their players were being dumb and ignorant, which I absolutely love. He's paralyzed spell, he's blind, he's flight, he's a null. So hostile spells attack targeting a lich are a DC 18 to cast and it lasts 1d4 rounds. So that could be 1 round where it's a pain in the ass, or it's 4 rounds and that can be it. And it has 2 other spells. He's Wither and Sigil of Doom. And we have a bunch of new monsters here, which are great. I love any adventure that has monsters. Again, it's just more tools you can add into any game you have. You have a new Skeletal Warrior, Skeleton Mage, awesome, Skeleton Knight, Skeletal Archer, Skeletal Dog, a Yarn Doll. Here's the Cyclops, the Cyclops Skeleton Giant. Now it does have quite a lot of hit points. It has 64 hit points, but he's only 11 AC for his natural armor. He does 2 attacks with a Grey Club at plus 6 to hit with 2d8. Yeah, that's a pain in the ass. So you could potentially defeat him relatively quickly, but he could also very easily destroy a party. He also has another attack of throwing 1 boulder, so that can go for fire, so that's going to be a range attack, at a plus 6 at 2d10. They're obviously all undead. They're all undead, and they're obviously immune to morale checks. And he has sightless vision. Again, he cannot be surprised when in near, so you can sneak up on him and try and sneak attack him with like your teeth. And the Crypt Crab, I absolutely love this. I think it's this horrible eldritch creature monster of doom. Now it has 15 AC, but only 8 hit points. It has 2 attacks at plus 3. It does 1d8, and it has a 1 tongue damage attack at plus 3 at 1d6 plus grab. So it has the check here you need to do for the grab or held and pincer, and again it cannot be surprised, but it can lose morale because it doesn't say it's undead, or at least it doesn't have the immune to morale checks. It's more cool art, and you have a bunch of magic items here. Again, you're gonna have magic items in this, which are also just sort of like normal ones you're gonna get in the Shadowdark core rulebook, and there's these ones which there's basically a bit of something for everyone. So you're gonna have a great sword, helm, an amulet, a mace, a dagger, a shield, and a bow, and they're all essentially covers something for every class, really. But yeah, so let's just say this dagger might be important, like we were talking about earlier, for the Lich. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, this is absolutely a lovely, beautiful adventure. I'm gonna have a hell of a lot of fun in this. It's one of the ones I absolutely recommend, for sure, especially for new players to get them into things. They're absolutely gonna have a hell of a time, and they're gonna learn the basics of the game, which is important. We're just gonna look over a little bit in some of the first fortress, and then we'll go down to the bottom. Again, I don't want to spoil too much. So yeah, it has the room key. This is also given to you by that old dwarf at the beginning. It has the random encounters when you're inside any of the fortresses or the castle that you're going to be rolling on the same random encounters. That's for indoors when you're fighting in the fortresses or in the castle. And here it talks about the Fortress Duncan has 11 rooms, and then it has a map at the end here. So we'll just go through a little bit and just have a quick look. Again, we're not going to spoil things too much. It gives you the porch entrance, and it gives a description of what it is and what you're going to find. You have doors, you have locked doors, you're going to have traps and stuff like that throughout this adventure. It's going to have different rooms, you're going to find different enemies, find different items. Some are going to be magical, some are going to be normal, mundane items, which are just for treasure's sake. And you're going to have encounters as well. Like here, you're going to have 4 skeletal warriors, you're going to have treasure, and a desk. There's also a burlap sack and a dagger. Talks about the greeting room here. You're going to have more skeletal figures, and you're going to find a scroll of burning hands. So you're constantly going to be gaining treasure, and it's going to be useful treasure. You're going to look here. You can find a healing potion and a shield. So that healing potion is going to be very important because, again, you're going to be doing encounters quite a lot. Even your hex call, you're probably doing a little more than average, maybe. Kind of depends on your luck as well, but yeah, it's going to be pretty rough. Your characters are going to be getting attacked quite often in combat quite often, which is one thing that's going to make it quite dramatic. Here it talks about the treasure room, has a pit trap, the chest. Again, you have lots of items. You're going to get gold, silver, copper pieces, and a jade ring. A wooden box down here, and a longsword for you in the living room, and a fireplace, and talks about the swarm rats. This is basically this is the first place I suggest you should come into, and it says this is for level 1. It's going to suit them very well, and if they haven't played before, they're going to learn, okay, there's a trap in here, someone sets it off, but now everyone knows the dangers of traps if they don't know. Now they understand that you have to be careful. So again, this is a great teaching tool without you sitting down and be like, okay, you need to check for traps all the time because blah, blah, blah. No, they're going to learn through their mistakes. And everything in this is planned out very well. It looks great. It's laid out. And I do like how it does have the fortress is here laid out, and then it goes to each room. As far as the placement of the map, you can really place the map like it has here at the end or at the beginning. There's no real right or wrong way. It's just going to be preference for the creator and the individual. Also, when you get this as a digital file, I have the copies of them, volume 1 and volume 2 in print as well. You're going to get maps. So if you want, you can print them off, or you can just have your players map it out the old-fashioned way. Yeah. So and then by the end of you get to the last room in the Fortress Duncan. There's going to be an undead noble, and he's a skeleton mage. And skeleton mages, this are pretty damn good. We looked at it a little bit earlier. And you're going to get Cloak of Elven Kind. You're going to get some more amulets, more gold, And again, your characters are learning the system and how to do things. And talks about deed well done. There will be a final enemy at the end of each fortress explored by the players. Use this as an opportunity to reward the players with a luck token, which can represent Queen Yama's using her magical power of good. So we're going to go down through this, and there's lots of cool places. Again, each location is different. You're going to have different monsters as well. You're going to have some spiders and other stuff like that. And there's going to be a bunch of NPCs. You're going to be undead usually. You can come across mysterious figures as well though. But they're going to give you information. Some of them might be just trying to help you. Some of them might be trying to get you to do something for them. But your players don't know this. And if you give it to them, they might reward you. They might attack you. They might do nothing. So again, there's always something. And this is the castle here. Again, when you're doing to each of these areas, if the Castle Zadu is at one of the locations, say if you want to C or D, you would replace that with the Castle Zadu, or Zadu Castle. Yeah, and it's very well done. You're gonna have a hell of a lot of fun. And again, as you're going to each of these fortresses, you're going to be gaining items. You're going to be gaining lots of treasure, but you're also going to gain the magical treasure. And that's going to be some of those weapons we looked at earlier. And some of those weapons are going to have extra damage to undead. So then maybe if you come across the Cyclops again, it's going to be much easier to fight. You'll have a better chance. So instead of your characters maybe running away, maybe they can now stand up to try to fight him, even if they're slightly under leveled for him. And also a bit of luck. And then from Castle Zadu, you end up going into the crypts. And it talks about at the end of the adventure. So yeah, this was a pretty quick look at this review. Again, I think it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. I don't want to spoil too much about it. That's why we only looked at the first fortress. But it's great. You're going to have many hours of play in this. And again, it's very replayable because it's a bit more random. So if you played it before with someone, you're like, oh yeah. And maybe they don't know about the locations, that it's going to be random. You just print off the map. Because the old dwarf at the beginning, he does give your players a map that sort of marked out locations. But your players don't know that. It's not random. Or you can just pick any place you want, really, if you don't want to do a random roll. And then maybe if some of your players played before, they go back there and all of a sudden it's not the castle anymore. They're like, oh shit, what happened? So that's pretty cool. And again, you've cool new monsters, cool new items, magic items you can use in your other games as well. And art in this is stunning. It's beautiful. I love it. Again, I have to play Volume 2 soon. That will be a while. I think Volume 2 is like 160 something pages. So yeah, that's it guys. Again, I want to thank you all for checking out these videos. It means so much to me that people want to listen to my dumb ass. But yeah, thanks again. I'll leave a link in the description and in the pinned comment of where you can find this. My X account, my Discord if you want to join. It's still new. So if you want to join, you can post anything in it. If you're a creator, you can post your stuff in there as well. There's going to be promotion sections and social media sections, art. Anything you want to do, you can do it. Some very simple basic rules. And I'll attach my drive-thru affiliate link if you want to use it. If you don't, fine. If you do, great. And if there's anything you ever want me to look at, I can leave it in the comment. And I will eventually try and get around to it at some stage. So yeah, that's it guys. Thanks for checking this out with me. And I'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye.